If you've been posting your car photos consistently recently and you're still not growing, I want to be completely honest with you. It's probably not the algorithm. When I was stuck at just a few hundred followers, I felt the exact same way. But the problem was that I didn't have a system, I didn't have clear positioning, and I was posting for myself rather than an audience. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through exactly what I did to go from 390 followers to 150,000 followers in just 1 year. No tactics, no hacks, just the system. Let's get into it. So let me take you back to where all this started. And I think a lot of you may resonate with this. I had 390 followers on my personal page. And to be completely honest with you, I didn't even try to grow on that page. I had two separate pages, one for my personal stuff and one for my car photography, which was just strictly my car. And the reason why I did that was because I didn't want to feel like I was bombarding my personal page with my car photography, especially since it was my only car. Now, when I would go to car events like Cars and Coffee, I would take a couple of pictures and post them on my personal page because I did have a genuine interest in car photography. So I did want to showcase that on there. And I did keep that completely separate from my car page because, again, that other page was strictly for my car. And that was honestly mistake number one that I made, which was having two separate pages, which was dividing my effort, my energy, and my time. And I wasn't really seeing any growth. It was very stagnant. On top of all that, I wasn't posting consistently. I was posting here and there. There was no real systems, no real frequency, and no intention behind anything that I was doing. And here is what that actually cost me in the long run. And that was, I wasn't learning. I'm a firm believer that if you don't put your work out there and build publicly and get your reps in, that you're not going to learn very fast because you're not getting any sort of feedback. And I'm not saying that you need to get anything but hype out of it. You do also need to get some constructive criticism from people, but you're not able to get that external feedback if you're not even putting anything out there for people to look at. And my skills at that point were still pretty bad. And that is honestly because I was simply hiding. Before I ever took social media seriously, I had been a photographer for 5.5 to 6 years. And the reason why I was making excuses was pretty simple. I wasn't growing. I told myself that there was no point and nobody was going to notice me. The likes I would get on my posts were occasional. I wasn't getting a whole lot. I'd get a couple photos here and there that would be shared to somebody else's story, like, yo, these are fire, but nothing really substantial because I wasn't getting a lot of exposure. If I wasn't building anything, I wasn't necessarily going to attract anything. So here's the thing about posting twice a day, every single day for an entire year, which is exactly what I started doing in August of 2023. It all started off because of a camera. For the first 6 years of my photography career, I was using this camera, a cheap DSLR camera from Nikon. And I do have a video on this of me actually taking pictures of this here recently. So if you want to go watch that, I'll put it in the description down below. But I updated from that camera to the current camera that I'm shooting on, which is my Sony a7 IV. Now, this was a pretty big investment, and I have loved this camera ever since I purchased it. But when I did buy it, I told myself that I need to start treating this a little bit more seriously than just a simple hobby. Because when I spend that kind of money, it does really hurt inside. I was definitely able to afford it because I saved up money over a long period of time, but I couldn't just look at this as a simple hobby. I had to start treating it a little bit more like a business. Now, it wasn't just a clean cut dry, like day one, I have to turn it into a business and make an LLC and all those things. No, I still had to relearn how to shoot on a camera because this was a completely different system and a completely different camera from what I was used to. And so that's where the POV content came into play. I had a GoPro from a previous purchase and I went out one day with my car in the rain and I wanted to take pictures of it because it was a perfect setting for it. And I had the GoPro with me because I thought about doing the POV content because of an inspiration I got from a different creator about a year before this. And I thought, you know, if I do this, nobody's probably going to see it. So what the heck, might as well just do it, right? So I strapped it to my head and I started recording myself taking pictures of my car. And when I recorded that entire photo session, I did talk to the camera like I normally would talk to myself because I like to think out loud. I like to narrate what it is that I'm doing. And it just helps me think more clearly when I do those things. And so the next day I posted the very first video and it wasn't even a perfect video. It was honestly kind of a crap show because when I look back at it, the captions didn't burn in. When I exported it, I didn't sound enthusiastic. I had very long pauses in between my sentences. I used a lot of filler words and I was mumbling, which is one of those things I had to deal with growing up was not speaking clearly. I used to mumble a whole lot. But when I posted that video, I had people actually respond positively to it. And what I mean by people, I mean, some of them were people that followed me, that knew me personally, and then even complete strangers started commenting and liking the post and sharing it. And that gave me a little spark of inspiration. It's like, okay, I should keep doing this. Like, I have more videos I can pump out. And so for the first week or two, I was posting just one video per day. I wasn't posting any photos at this point because I saw that the videos were getting traction with people who didn't know me. And within the first week, I gained probably 100 to 110 followers. Well, the person who gave me inspiration to begin this in the first place, which by the way is Ben Hargreaves, or otherwise known as Life Through Optics, at the time he had roughly 440,000 followers, and he had gotten attention of one of my posts because I tagged him in it. And he sent me a message saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Here's my suggestion for you. Also post the carousel post after you do the video. And that's when it started into the 2 posts a day for me. And this didn't seem like a very sustainable thing at first, but as I started doing it, I noticed that 1 photo shoot per week was enough photos and enough videos to get me through an entire week of content at 2 posts per day. It was a very low effort and it was sustainable because I didn't do anything specific with the video. I didn't have to worry about color grading. All I had to do was cut up the video, put captions in, and also showcase the photos on screen as I was taking them. So if you've ever seen my content, it's a before and after slider that I do. And those things were kind of hard at first because I had to learn how to do those types of things in Premiere Pro. But once I got it down, I turned it into like a simple preset. So I just made it fast. And I was able to edit a video and photo the same day that I posted. I didn't have to do any bulk editing at the time. I just did it the day of, which after some time wasn't that sustainable. And going from my car, I had shot my FRS and then I shot my 4Runner, which was brand new at the time. And so I had 2 different cars I could take out and shoot. And it wasn't anything super special. I didn't have a supercar. I didn't have a muscle car. I didn't have a heavily modified car, unless you want to count my FRS as heavily modified. So I just took what I had out and I did photo shoots with him. And then I asked my brother, who has a 370Z Nismo, and I took his car out, and then I had friends who had cars, and I took them out, and I did photo shoots 1 per week. Again, on a Saturday, I would take the photos, I would record the video, and then the following week, I would post those. It was pretty much like a whole series. So series after series after series. And it got to the point where people started noticing my work more because I had started growing an audience, and a lot of people in the local area started reaching out to me saying, hey, I would love to do a photo shoot with you. And again, at this time, my skills were still developing because I was still learning the Sony camera. I was still learning how to properly color grade and actually edit my photos. And so I was still learning, but I was learning publicly. This was never a part of the plan, but it was very simple. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't sit down and engineer this system. It just simply evolved. But the principle underneath it was very real. Figure out how to multiply 1 photo session into as much content as possible, and showing up every single day becomes a lot less overwhelming. A lot of Instagram growth gurus out there are going to tell you that you need to identify your niche. And I understand why, because niche clarity is a very real thing, but here's why my story is a little bit different. I didn't necessarily have to find my niche. It just started from the very beginning. I've been a car enthusiast for the majority of my life, and that has never been a question. I simply picked up a camera along the way and started it as a separate hobby. But when I started doing this stuff twice a day, every single day, it is when all that merged together cohesively. And so my problem wasn't that I didn't have a niche. It was that I wasn't fully committing to what I already had as my niche, or niches if you want to split them up. Back when I was doing this kind of on the side, not really paying a lot of attention to it, I was splitting my interests into 2 separate pages. My car page for my car itself, which is my initial hobby, and then my personal page was my car photography hobby. All this was separate, and that was the problem. On my personal page, I was throwing out architecture, landscape photos from my travels, random bits here and there. Nothing really interesting to me personally, actually. I don't really have an interest in doing landscape photography or architecture. I like cars, and that was pretty simple. But I was forcing myself to separate those 2 things when in reality, I should have brought them both together from the get-go. Cars brings me something that other things don't. I have a genuine interest in all of them. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an engineer by any means. I just simply love my car, and I love modifying it, and I love driving it. That's it. And I also love capturing pictures of my car. And I love telling people stories about my car. And when I go to Cars and Coffees, I love hearing about other people's stories because there is always a story behind the car or behind the person who drives the car. And that was something that I found very special for me in the terms of connecting with other people. So here's what I would tell somebody who is currently stuck on the niche problem. You probably already know what your niche is. It's that one thing that you would shoot every single day, even if nobody was watching. For me, that was always cars. I just simply had to stop apologizing for it and go all in. Now, if you watched my last video, it was my Lightroom walkthrough of a recent photo shoot I did at Cars and Coffee. I highly recommend go checking that out. If you haven't already, I'll put it in the description down below so that way you can go watch it afterwards. My personal editing style has always been a dark and moody kind of editing style. That's just my personal taste, especially when it comes to cars. I feel like it's a really cool look in a lot of instances. I love high contrast. I love rich colors. I love separating the car from the background to make it look more stand out, like more three-dimensional. And to do this, I intentionally underexpose my images. Now, there are some instances where I don't do that, obviously, but my go-to usually is to slightly underexpose my images so that way I can create that moody, dark look. And this wasn't designed by accident. This was very intentional from the very beginning. I like to think of myself as somebody who likes to express my emotions at the time when I'm editing photos. And a lot of the times it was dark and moody because I was severely depressed or anxious, something I've been dealing with my entire life. So I resonate a lot with the dark and moody type of edit because that's kind of how I felt most of the time and sometimes still do. But it wasn't just because of that. I did have outside inspiration, which specifically came from Peter McKinnon. Now, most of you probably know who that is, but I learned everything I knew from his YouTube videos early on in my car photography career. Now, he is not a car photographer by default. He is simply a photographer that does a lot of different things. He had a lot of tutorials and even had an editing style that I really liked and appreciated. So I actually bought one of his early preset packs so that way I could reverse engineer his style and then turn it into my own style by making tweaks here and there. And eventually over time, I completely got rid of using his presets in general, and I had developed my own at that time, and that's what I currently have available. Again, if you want to go check it out, I'll put it in the description down below. But my current preset pack is years of evolution of style, taste, and it's still evolving. I don't stick to one style all the time. I do have my base style that I like to come back to, which is that dark and moody look, but I do also experiment with other types of editing styles, try new tactics, try new colors, stuff like that. And this is all stuff that took years to develop because I didn't just go out and take something I like and carbon copy it into my own work and call it mine. It was, I like elements of this person. And there was even other people over the years I have taken inspiration from, and I have purchased their preset pack so I could do the same thing and just kind of mend those things together of the things that I like, and then I turned it into my own. So in that video where I go through my Lightroom walkthrough, you'll see how my editing style has evolved over the last 8 years now. Now, the moment that I realized my editing style actually was noticeable and people actually liked it was when people did start buying my preset pack and then leave a review or make a post on Instagram and tag me in it and say that, hey, I bought Joe's presets. They made me a better, more effective photographer, or they helped me find my own style. Those types of comments is when I really started to realize that my editing style was not just unique to my own and that other people actually enjoyed it. And this wasn't just online. I would actually hear it in person as well. When I lived in Indianapolis, I would go to local car events all the time. And once I started getting more recognition online, I would have people approach me in person telling me that they liked my edits, they liked my style, they liked my work in general, all those compliments. And that really helped me feel validated when it came to my work. And that style specifically is what became my brand image. That's the crux of everything. And again, if you want to go check out the preset pack for yourself, it'll be in the description down below. If you buy it, I 100% appreciate your time and effort and money into it. There's a lot more to it than just presets. Trust me, when I purchased presets in the past, I felt like there's something missing. So there's little extra bits in there that you can definitely use to help accelerate your own learning and find your own style. Here's another thing that a lot of online Instagram growth guides will not tell you, that a lot of the growth that I did actually took place offline. Me simply showing up to car meets and talking to people and networking and getting one-on-one photo shoots with those people in my local community is what really drove my growth online. Because to be honest with you, if you don't have anything to shoot, then you really have nothing to show for. And I wasn't just going out there and saying, hey, I'm a photographer, work with me, please. I was actually connecting with people, and that was showcased in a lot of my videos where I will talk to the person about themselves, about their car, about the car story, and I would talk to them for, I don't know, 10, 15, even sometimes 20 minutes. But then at the end of that conversation, I would then tell them, hey, I'm a car photographer and I love your car. I love the story. I would love to set up a one-on-one opportunity with you to take photos of your car privately. But I would also have photos of their car from the event. So then I would be able to show them and say, hey, here's what I got right now. I'll go home, edit these, and then I'll send them to you. Can I get your contact information? This was such a simple and natural way for me to actually get one-on-one clients. And this was all done without a camera, without an audience. It was just simply me talking to another person. Going to these events, even now that I live in a different area completely and have no clients up here, is the best way for me to grow as a car photographer, but also as an online influencer. And as my account grew by working offline, people online were messaging me directly saying, hey, I've been seeing your work a lot, or my friend worked with you previously and I want to work with you. That stuff naturally started coming in organically to the point where I had to limit myself to how many photo shoots I did every single weekend. I limited myself to just shooting photos on Saturday, so that way Sunday I could start editing and kind of recover from all those photo shoots. So I would actually post online saying, hey, I have available slots for these dates, and they would fill up within a day. And all of this growth, getting these clients, getting these DMs, they didn't happen because the algorithm just blessed me with these people. These were all people in my local community that have seen my work online because I was posting consistently. I'm networking with people that they may know. So when I post their photos and I tag them, then they're sharing it with their friends. It wasn't the algorithm that was pushing those people towards me. It was me networking and showing up consistently every single day. Okay, so for this next part, I was going to skip it, but honestly, I think it's worth sharing to you because it is a very real thing. I hit my peak follower account at about 152,000 followers back in August of 2024. And then that number started to go down. Right now, I'm sitting at, I think, 140,000 followers currently on Instagram. And I want to talk about why, because I think it's going to be the most important thing in this video, especially for somebody who's looking to grow their audience. In 2024, I became a father. This is my very first kid, and I had no idea what I was doing, just like with pretty much everything else in life. And that took a lot of effort for me to become a new father and just jump right into the deep end. And so my Instagram, my photography took the back seat because I was more focused on my life and my family. So I took that step back. My backlog, which had for the longest time been full to the brim to where I had months and months worth of content ready to go, started dwindling down because I stopped doing private photo shoots. For that whole year, I didn't really go to any events. I went to some large events, but I didn't go to any local events. And so the content started falling off, and I wasn't posting twice a day every single day anymore by the time August hit. And at that point, I started noticing that my motivation started slacking, that my followers started dropping off, and that every time I tried posting content again, it wasn't really hitting in the right note. And so people weren't really discovering me anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't just because I became a father, it was because I got burnt out. I stretched myself completely thin between being a new father, trying to build a business online, and trying to go out physically to all these events and do these private photo shoots. It just simply got to the point where I was so burnt out that I didn't want to do it anymore, that I simply wanted to quit. I had been putting a lot of time, money, and effort into this, and I was gaining nothing in return. All this stuff that I do online had been completely for free, and I wasn't really making a whole lot of money. In fact, for the first 2+ years, I think I spent well over $20,000 between the normal gear expenses, software, travel, all those things. And I did not even get all that back from my efforts. And now that's personally on me. I'm really big into personal finance, so I know there's that risk of me starting this up as a business, and there's definitely a lot of expenses that go into it. But it got to the point where I wasn't even getting what I wanted out of it, not just for the thrill of it, but also for the monetary side of things, because I do want this to be a successful business. So when I was a new father, I was like, listen, I'm not really getting anything out of this. I'm going to cut this off because it's not doing anything for me. But being a father is. Like, I got more joy out of being a father than being an online content creator. And that grind of posting consistently every single day just made me feel hollow inside. I was more stressed, I was more anxious, and that was just simply something I couldn't sustain anymore. So now I've gone from posting twice a day to posting whatever I feel like throughout the week. The followers I would see dropping off, I just saw it as a cleanse. I gained a large amount of followers in a short period of time, and I could have gained those followers for the very wrong reasons, because I had a couple of videos go viral, and so all they were expecting out of me was the same kind of content that they followed me for. And so when I started switching that up into things that I really wanted to post and I didn't care what anybody else think, they started falling off. And to me, I think that is a cleansing phase that a lot of people are going to go through. But if you don't know that it's coming, it actually hurts you more, like it did me. So that's why I think this is very important for you, because if you're somebody who wants to grow a large audience online, by all means, that is totally worth it. Do what your heart content is, right? But what you have to remember is that follower counts are just vanity metrics, and it doesn't necessarily translate to success. Because see, I grew to 152,000 followers. But if I were to tell you how much money I earned in 2024 before I stopped posting consistently when I was at my peak, it was probably less than $1,000 I've earned. But I've invested over $20,000 up to that point into this business. And that is on me, again, for sure. But I grew at a rate that I did not expect at all. So I was not prepared as a creator. And everything that I had that I was giving away for free turned my audience into an audience of people who just want free things, free content, free downloads, free presets, whatever. And the paid things that I had weren't getting any attention because nobody was willing to pay me money after getting all this free stuff from me, because that's what they expected. And as that follower number went down, I just started freaking out like, this is it. I've hit my peak. This is me falling off. But then I started settling into the mindset of, this is probably actually going to make me more successful long term. Because again, the 12,000 followers I've lost in the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, is probably a really good thing, because those are people who I don't want to be around. Like, I want the people who follow me to be the kind of people I would want to be around, or the people who want to be around me, or the people who value me for what I'm able to offer them. And so I think sitting at 140,000 followers, which by the way is still a very big number, don't get me wrong, it's still pretty cool to think about, because I did grow this audience, but it's such a hollow experience because it's just a number on screen. What really got me excited about having a large community is when people would comment or send me a private DM and tell me how much I've impacted them. Some people have even said, listen, I stopped photography years ago and I picked up my camera again because of you. Those types of comments just send chills down my spine, even just thinking about it right now, because that is really why I'm here. I want to show my work because I want people to appreciate my work, but I also want to help people. And whether that's by just showing off my work and inspiring them to go do what they want to do, or if that's actually helping them grow in some way, some capacity where I get paid and they get results, whatever the case may be. I started losing that as I wasn't posting often. I got less DMs, I got less comments, I got less engagement. And so I felt like my work was no longer being seen by the people that I wanted to see it. And that hurt a lot, trust me. Probably because I was gone for a while and I took multiple breaks. And again, my mental health is way more important, but that's what I want to get back to when it comes to my audience. All right, so now that we're past that, I'm going to be straight with you, because this is the part that most creators are going to skip. I built an audience up to 150,000 followers, and I'm still figuring out how to turn that into a business. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the audience automatically converts into an income, because let's be real, it actually does not, and I am living proof of that. I have found out that a large portion of the audience that you create are just simply there to watch. They have no intention of ever buying anything from you. People go to platforms like Instagram to be entertained, not to be sold things. there is a gap between attention and trust, and it's very large at the moment. I'm working my way to close that gap even further. And here's what I do know about my own business. The audience is very real. People are actually watching the videos, they're engaging it here and there. And my first real product has always been my preset pack. I'm on my second version of the preset pack, and I'm still learning and growing and still going to improve that product. My editing style is a brand style. So when people see my photos, they know they're my photos because of my editing style. And this is something that anybody can buy right now and use immediately. If you want to get edits like mine, you can go do that. You can watch the video, like I said, with my walkthrough, or you even get a different video when you buy the preset pack. A little bit older, should probably update that. But you can actually use my photos and my techniques in your editing style today. So you don't have to really worry about it. But I would be lying to you if I told you that I had all this business stuff figured out. I went to school for a business degree, so this actually feels like a huge kick in the gut because I feel like I should have this down pat because of my education, right? But I actually don't. And I embrace that because I don't know everything. When it comes to car photography, when it comes to business, when it comes to networking, when it comes to marketing, all those things that you need to be successful if you're trying to do the same thing I'm doing, I'm not very good at. And I want to be completely honest with you about that because I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, oh, I've been this success, blah, blah, blah. I've made tens of thousands of dollars. No, actually, if I were to pull up my balance sheet and tell you how much I've made versus spent, I haven't even hit $5,000 in earnings as a creator, but I've spent over $20,000. So you tell me, is that successful or not? And here's what I wish I understood earlier in my journey. And this is the same thing I'm going to keep going back and telling myself for as long as I can think of, is that you have to start building people who are willing to buy from you from the very beginning and not just viewers. So yes, although building an audience is important, you need to build trust from the very beginning. You need to make some sort of content that helps people, teaches them, shows them a different perspective, those contrarian beliefs that people talk about all the time. That type of content is what's going to build trust with people. Like this content right now, like what you're watching right now, where I get vulnerable about my insecurities with my business or with myself, this is trust building exercise. And this kind of content is going to make people think, I need to learn from this person more specifically. Like I need to learn what they're doing. What are they selling? How can they help me? And that's going to be the difference from the content that gets views and the content that sells. I didn't always understand the difference. I was just simply posting content because it was my raw POV video and I just wanted to share it. I had no intention behind it, had no trust building exercises in any of my videos. And sure, I would teach some sort of techniques of what I'm doing in the moment, but it wasn't anything crazy like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I just like teaching by showing people. And I know that now, which is why I'm making this video. So in this last part, I want to bring this all together for you because I want you to leave with something that you can actually use. So I'm going to walk through my entire system for you step by step so that way you can start implementing it this week. Step number 1, commit to a niche that you actually love, not just one that you think will perform, the one that you would do no matter what, even if nobody was watching you. Step 2, build a content machine. You need a system through and through. You need to know what you're going to post and when you're going to post it. I actually have a free system, like an actual physical system that you can use. I'll put it in the description down below as well. It's a content planner. It's simple. It's free. Just try it out. Modify it to your heart's consent. But either way, you need a machine that is working for you. Number 3, build a visual identity. Colors, editing style, text, font, whatever. Build your style now with whatever it is that you have, and then over time, evolve it. Don't just stick to one style. Definitely evolve and grow and try to make things a little bit different. Give people a reason to recognize your work in your feed before they ever read your name. Number 4, show up offline. A lot of people think that all the growth that they get is online in this niche, but showing up offline is also very important. If you're a car photographer, go to car meets, go to car events, talk to people. I know it's difficult. Trust me, I'm an introvert, but the more that you do it, the more comfortable you will get. Trust me. Let people see who the person is behind the work, face to face. Give them your first name, get in touch with them after the fact, just put yourself out there. The worst thing that people could do is tell you no, okay? That's literally the worst thing. Number 5, be completely honest about your full arc, the growth, the plateau, the dip, and where you are now. Again, for me, that's this video. I'm explaining to you my entire journey in just one video. But If you share this information with people from the very beginning, the highs and lows of building your brand, building your business, whatever it is that you're building, that is a trust building exercise to show people that you're not just showcasing the highlight reel, that you're showing what it really takes to do what it is that you do. And number 6, build for buyers from the very beginning. If you have a marketable skill like I do, and you want to eventually turn it into a business, you need to start acting like you're building an audience of buyers, not just viewers. I have met people who have less than 5,000 followers and make 6 figures per year off of their content business. Don't ask me how, because I still don't understand it. But it's because from the very beginning, they intentionally built an audience of buyers, not just viewers looking for free entertainment. And that's it. There's no algorithm hacks. There's no hooks they have to worry about. There's no whatever it is that people sell nowadays on the internet to get you growth in Instagram or any other social media platform. A clear niche, a machine to help you post consistently and have volume, a recognizable style, and a real community all baked into one. And lastly, being completely honest about it all too. If I were to tell you from the very beginning, hey, I'm here to make a crap ton of money, that is something I have said. I have said from the very beginning, I want to make a crap ton of money doing what I love, just like anybody else would. There's no point in hiding that. Like there is no point in hiding your journey, your ups, your downs, your plateaus. I got burnt out 10 times in the last year. I just need to take a step back. Like there's no point in hiding anymore. So if there's one big takeaway you can take from this, stop hiding. Okay. From deep down, like this is me getting personal right now. Deep down, I felt so disconnected since I've moved to where I am now because all my friends and family are back in Indianapolis and I don't have anything up here outside of my wife, my kid and her family, which they're wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like I've been so isolated as a person, as a creator, and me being a creator online and showcasing my work online is how I break away from my silo that I'm in. And the more that you hide yourself, the less likely it is that you're ever going to succeed at what you want to do. And sorry, crap, this wasn't part of the video. Like earlier this year, in January, my grandfather died. And this is a man that I took all my inspiration from when it came to building the business that you love. He went to school, became a mechanical engineer, was really good at it, but decided, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And started a business with his brothers that was successful for his entire career. And it was a table and chair rental business. It wasn't anything crazy. It's such a simple service-based business, and he loved it. And he was a big member of his church, his community. He was able to do what he wanted to do with his free time. And he did stuff like run marathons, which right now I'm currently training for a marathon. And the reason why he was able to do all that, because he didn't hide. He was out there. He was talking to people. He was part of the community. And I learned a lot from just his life experiences. And I'm telling you right now, when I was more visible to my local community and even the online community, I had so much more opportunity than I do at this current state. Right now, I'm at such a plateau/dip. I don't even get brand deal opportunities anymore. I don't get a lot of DMs from people. I don't get a lot of opportunity, but I see other people in my niche who are succeeding, and I feel like I failed myself. But it's because I went into hiding. And so I'm trying to not hide anymore and try to get back out there. And I think if you're just starting, or if you're in a similar position as me, where you plateaued or you started seeing that dip, it's hard. Trust me, life, it gets hard, but you need to show yourself that you can do it again, and you need to stop hiding and just be out there. So again, this was not supposed to be part of that video, but I got very passionate about it because I do want to turn this into something successful for myself, and I want to be able to help you do the same thing. So if you want to stick around and see how this journey goes with me, and maybe if you're on your own journey, you want to learn more from me, please feel free to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm so more people like you can see this video. And if you do subscribe, it means a lot to me because I am trying to build this page up like I had built my Instagram, but I'm trying to be much more intentional about the audience I build here. So only subscribe if you want, okay? It's free. You can unsubscribe later if you dislike me for any reason, that's fine. But until then, I will see you all next time.